Hello everyone, I'm Amir and you're watching the Sunny Stamir channel. This video is about my second day in Moscow. If you haven't seen the first part of my trip yet, you can find it on my channel. We started the day with a quick tour of the apartment when we were staying. Then we are headed to one of Moscow's most unusual landmarks, the monument to the Karat processed cheese. After that we made our way to VDNKh, passing by the Ostankino TV Tower. But first it's time to breakfast, so let's go! Do you think it is coffee? No, it's a porridge. Today I'm having a sandwich with cucumber and avocado for breakfast. I also have some instant porridge prepared in a paper coffee cup. Now let's take a quick apartment tour. This Soviet-era building is where we rented our apartment for our stay in Moscow. At the entrance to the building there are Soviet-era glass blocks. They let natural light into the stairwell and they are extremely difficult to break, which is why they've remained here for so many years. This is what a typical Soviet apartment building entrance looks like. Now we're inside the apartment. There are lots of yellow Scandinavian style design elements here. There's a small kitchen here. There is also a small hallway here. And there's a small bathroom. Now it's time to go further and explore Moscow. We are going to take the metro. We need to top up a Troika card. The Troika card is Moscow's public transport travel card. We got off at a beautiful metro station to take a look around and show it to you. This station features mosaics depicting ancient cities beautifully integrated into its design. There is something about the metro that makes you not want to leave it too quickly. It feels strangely calm and comforting, almost like a hidden world beneath the city. In Russia, the metro feels different from many European systems. It is often cleaner, quiet, and more spacious in its own way. There is a certain rhythm here: trains arriving, lights passing through tunnels, people moving without rush. And then there is the smell, a mix of old trains, earth, tunnels, and metal rails. It's hard to describe, but I love it. It feels alive, like the city itself is breathing underground. Maybe that's why the metro feels so cozy. It's not just transport, it's a place between destinations where time slows down for a moment. This is an old metro train. I love old trains more than new ones because they have a special charm. Especially like the sounds they make, the rattling, the vibrations and the mechanical noise. The new trains don't have this kind of sound. This is the metro map. Now we're leaving the metro and heading to the monument to processed cheese. This is a monument to the legendary Soviet processed cheese friendship. As you can see, a crow and a fox are holding a multicolored block. The crow and the fox come from a famous Russian fable, where the fox tricks the crow into dropping its cheese. But here, instead of stealing it, they are holding the friendship processed cheese together. It symbolizes that they are friends now and share it between them. This monument is located near the Karat factory where this cheese is produced. You can actually see it in the background. Now let's go into the brand store of this processed cheese located inside the factory building. This painting illustrates this famous fable. All of this is Karat processed cheese, led by friendship and Karat with salmon. Now I'd like to share the story of Karat. Karat was founded in 1934 and has been operated for 92 years. It was the first cheese-producing enterprise in the Soviet Union. Look, it's the same cheese on the monument and in my hand. Opposite the monument is the Ostankino TV Tower. Now I'd like to tell you the story of the Ostankino TV Tower. Before it was built, the main television and radio broadcasting center of Moscow and the surrounding region was located at the Shabalovka TV Tower. As the city rapidly grew, the existing signal coverage was no longer enough. In the mid-1950s, it was decided to build a much taller tower. The Ministry of Communications announced a nationwide competition for the design of a new national broadcasting station. On September 27, 1960, the foundation of the Ostankino TV Tower was laid, with Nikitin appointed as the chief engineer of the project. It took 7 years to complete. The tower became the peak of the architectural and engineering achievement of its time. On November 5, 1967, the first stage of construction was completed. The tower was officially named the all-union radio and television broadcasting station named after the 50th anniversary of the October Revolution. It was only in 1991 that it was officially renamed the Ostankino TV Tower. The height of the tower is 540 meters. At the time of its construction, it was the tallest freestanding tower in the world, and today it remains the tallest tower in Europe. You can buy dog food from this vending machine. Look how much popular fluff there is here. It looks like snow. This sculpture is dedicated to the inventor of television. The sculpture titled Vladimir Zworykin, inventor of television, stands near the Ostankino TV Tower. The 2-meter tall figure of Zworykin is cast in bronze, while the famous Zworykin television set, which he is leaning on, is made of marble. Look, this building looks like the screen of an old broken television. There is so much popular fluff here. It looks like real snow. This is the Church of the Life-Giving Trinity in Ostankino. These duck-like birds are called red-show ducks. Their native range is North Africa and Central Asia. So how did they become a local residents of Moscow? Their story begins in 1948. Before that, they lived in the Moscow Zoo, where their wings were clipped. However, after 1948, the practice of wing clipping stopped. The birds were then able to fly, and after escaping the zoo, they spread across the city. They do not tolerate cold very well, but they still remain in Moscow. In winter, they stay on warm bodies of water, and some even return to the zoo. Interestingly, they nest on the roofs of tall buildings. When the chicks hatch, they simply jump down from the roof and follow their parents to the nearest body of water. The chicks cannot get hurt as their wings act like a parachute. Look at this beautiful lilac bush. The strange sound you heard was the call of red-show ducks. The church is really beautiful. Don't you think? Let me know in the comments. Now we are entering VDNKh through a side entrance, not the main one. What is VDNKh? VDNKh stands for the Exhibition of Achievements of National Economy. It is one of the largest exhibition, museum and recreational complexes in the world. Since its opening on August 1st, 1939, its name has changed several times. Today, VDNKh is a unique space for museum and exhibition projects, international business events and congresses, festivals and public celebrations. Here you can see outstanding architectural masterpieces that together form a monument to the Soviet era and reflect the dominant architectural styles of different periods. The decision to build the All-Union Agricultural Exhibition (VDNKh) was made at the second All-Union Congress of Collective Farm Shop Workers. It was planned to open for 100 days to mark the 20th anniversary of Soviet power. The idea of the exhibition was highly symbolic. To demonstrate the success of collective farming, an abundance was created within the fenced territory of Ostankino Park. In 1988, VDNKh was transferred to a self-facilitated model and later lost state funding entirely. The complex had to survive independently and find new sources of income. The management began leasing out pavilions and other spaces. However, some tenants quickly cleared out the original exhibitions, turning the spaces into retail stores and storage areas. In 1992, VDNKh of the USSR was reorganized into a joint stock company, later known as the All-Russian Exhibition Center (VVS). This period became known in popular culture as the era of barbecue pavilions. By 1994, almost all exhibitions in the pavilions had been closed. Some buildings were lost. In 2005, a fire destroyed one architectural monument, and in 2011, another pavilion burned down. In the early 2000s, a decision was made to revive the exhibition's cultural and educational role. In 2013, the renovation project was led by the mayor of Moscow, Sergei Sobyanin. A public vote was held to restore the historical name VDNKh, and 90% of participants supported the idea. This is an exhibition of different stones near the Geology Pavilion. This is the Cotton Pavilion. This church is small but beautiful. This is the Mobile Strip attraction. The Mobile Strip is a landscape attraction designed as a continuous walking path in the shape of an infinity symbol. It is named after the German astronomer, mathematician, and mechanic August Ferdinand Möbius, because it resembles his famous Möbius strip, one of the most recognizable shapes in mathematics. This unique art object is a landscape installation within VDNKh with no real analogues either in Russia or in the world. The total length of the path is 340 meters. The structure reaches up to 9.5 meters in height, while the elevated walkway is raised 8.4 meters above the ground. What I find fascinating about the Möbius strip is that it represents something very simple yet deeply strange. It's a path with only one side and one edge. You can walk forward and eventually end up exactly where you started, without ever crossing a boundary. It feels like a small model of infinity hidden inside a physical object. And maybe that's why it's so interesting to walk here. It makes you think that some things in life are not about direction or destination, but about continuity itself. This is the pavilion of the meat industry. This is the Moscow Planetarium. This is the Year of Grain fountain. The first fountain, the Year of Grain, was installed in 1939. In 1954, an updated version called the Golden Ear was created in the center of pond number 3. The restoration of the Golden Ear began in the fall of 2013. What I find most interesting about cities is how naturally they mix with nature. At first glance it seems like they are opposites. Cities are built from concrete, metal and glass, structured, controlled, designed by humans. Nature, on the other hand, feels free, unpredictable and alive in its own rhythm. But when you actually walk through a city, you start to notice that this contrast is not a conflict. It's a dialogue. Trees grow between buildings, grass breaks through cracks in the pavement. Rivers and parks cut through dense urban areas like reminders that the land was here long before anything was built on top of it. Even the way light falls between buildings or reflects off windows can feel natural, almost like a continuation of the landscape rather than something separate from it. In a way, cities don't replace nature, they sit inside it. They become another layer of the same world. And when this balance is respected, something interesting happens. The city doesn't feel artificial anymore. It feels alive not despite nature but together with it. Maybe that's why some places feel so comfortable to walk through. It's not just about architecture or design. It's about how everything, people, structures, trees, wind and light quietly fits into one shared system. And when that harmony appears, even briefly, you can feel that the city is not outside of nature. It is part of it. Look at this beautiful pavilion. It's absolutely stunning. This is the Letter Tea House. Inside this pavilion, there is an exhibition about space. Architecture is frozen through. Every building reflects the dreams and ideas of the people who created it. Even if times change, these buildings continue telling their stories. Space has always inspired people to look beyond the horizon. Long before we could travel beyond Earth, we imagined what might be waiting among the stars. Every spacecraft, every telescope, and every discovery began with curiosity. This is the pavilion of the Republic of Belarus. Look at the fruits decorating the columns. Look at the size of this ice cream, it's just perfect for me. This is the Volga region pavilion. This is the center of Slavic writing. This fountain is called the Stone Flower. This is the Azerbaijan pavilion. It's very beautiful, isn't it? Places like this remind me that knowledge is everywhere. It lives in museums, monuments, old buildings, and even in the streets. The world is constantly teaching us, but only if we are willing to pay attention. This is the pavilion of the Republic of Kazakhstan. I think it's truly wonderful to visit a place like VDNKh. It has a unique atmosphere of Soviet grandeur that you won't find anywhere else in Moscow. I especially like the unusual pavilions. Each one has its own character, making the whole place feel like an open-air museum where architecture tells the story of another era. This is the Uzbekistan pavilion. This is the Friendship of People's Fountain. This is the Karelia Pavilion. Karelia is the northern region of Russia that borders Finland. And this is the Armenia Pavilion. This is the main pavilion of VDNKh. Look at these people wearing traditional Russian costumes. This is the main entrance arch. Can you see the sculpture at the top of the arch? Look how much poplar fluff is on the asphalt. We've just left VDNKh and the only thing left is to see the monument to the worker and the collective farm woman. But it's better visible from the opposite side of the road. This is a monument to the worker and the collective farm woman. The sculpture Worker and Collective Farm Woman was created by Vera Mukhina for the USSR Pavilion at the International Exhibition in Paris in 1937. This image became a symbol of the country's drive for development and progress. This monument was used in the Mosfilm opening logo. This is the Mosfilm opening logo. Now our walk comes to an end. It was a wonderful day full of vivid impressions. I hope you enjoyed it too. We visited the monument to prostitutes, saw the Ostankino TV Tower, and explored VDNKh. If you liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, leave a comment and subscribe to the channel. And I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!